YouTube comments from a video titled, Where You Actually Want to Be When WW3 Starts. Part 7.
And Alistair Kiwi wrote,
I think I'd want to be directly under the first nuclear bomb. If there's a major nuclear war, then I don't think life would be much fun subsequently.
At Shakespearean 6078 wrote,
If and when it all kicks off, you're not going to have much choice for your own or loved one's self-imagined survival. As the conflict slowly or speedily spreads across the planet, as the psychopaths in charge start playing deadly war games with toy human soldiers and the military machine. One can either pick up a weapon and take out as many bad guys as possible before they take you out as they invade your home. Or you can hold your loved ones close, do nothing, let apathy and complacency or pitiful acceptance of your impending demise come over the horizon line and burn you all to ashen cinders. Or you can reason with historical rational thinking, knowing that if this war comes, that it will be the very end of humanity and our sad, pathetic addiction to conflict, power thirst, greed, and insanity personality disorder that forever seems to begin with those who we place in charge of our governments, whether we vote for them or not. Unfortunately, our so-called sentient, rational thinking primate species has a bipolar schizophrenia disorder that always comes out from within. And it always burns its way down and out from the very top. The powerful and the rich start the wars. The plebeians, that's us, kids, all below the certain line of wealth that be deemed less worthy of life. We either fight their wars of monies and power, or are imprisoned for our collective descent, or we simply just burn in the last war that our species will ever start. There will be no surviving. The last war will not only burn everything human, it will poison and toxify and kill everything else across every part of our Earth home. And means all life, from sky above to lands life sits on, to seas, oceans, and waterways, even the very air that Earth life requires for existence. But hey folks, not to worry. This epoch of Earth life may not be completely killed off in our last conflagration of human insanity. Our little earthly speck may yet have the odd survival experts still standing, or should I quip, swimming, wiggling, and hiding in the microsphere beneath the irradiated layer of human-generated death. And who knows, folks, once our seeming dead world has cooled somewhat, perhaps after a few tens of thousands of years or so, that tiny microbial life may have done what it has forever done in a universe vast. Evolve. Evolve and proliferate. And reform and reimagine itself, themselves, into the new types of Earth life that are born from our burning last human war. And who knows, what with at least a few billion years left to go before our sun burns our planet to ash, as it too dies, that the new life gets to enjoy a little evolutionary norm and relative calm existence. All without the completely pathologically insane machinations and horrors birthed by that strange mythological species of smart engineering apes. You know those guys. The Homo sapiens sapiens. The engineers of the last war in earthly history. And hopefully, a species such as our kind, or anything even similar in insane intelligent nature, never evolves to the point where it, too, burns its very own home to glowing poison cinders. So kids, if it does kick off, just put your boots up, crack a coldie, it'll be your last. Kiss loved ones, say goodbyes. Then turn up the music and watch as the sky catches fire, and then all witness the very last war of mankind. And seeing as we've had plenty of wargaming practice, just hope that the end it quicker this time, eh? Cheers.
At Docmo6549 wrote,
Wake up! Trump believes if there's a major war going on while he's president, he thinks he will be able to stay in the presidency, like President of Ukraine president did.
At Ralph Bernhard G1C wrote,
When you watch a bunch of kids in a sandbox arguing about a toy spade, then watch a bunch of politicians on TV arguing about who gets to rule a portion of the globe, and realize it is fundamentally the same thing. Kids.
At Hortigent 5687 wrote,
USA relations with everyone have soured. Where are you getting your news from? A Captain Kangaroo impersonator. You or whoever is actually behind this video must be stuck in the Biden zone. Which means that you are one of the great minds who knowingly and deliberately voted a man into the Oval Office, who everyone else with open eyes knew had clear signs of dementia. Let's see, the leaders of the USA's greatest adversaries would not work with Biden because he had a political reputation for messing up for his decades in office, and even Obama said, in so many words, that if anyone can mess something up, Joe can. They also had eyes and could see what was before them. This is either clickbait or a very serious case of TDS. The free world is only safe when the USA is strong, and Biden made it weak. Those are the facts of the early 21st century. Here's another fact. With today's weaponry on both sides, if WWI ever breaks out, you don't want to be safe. You want to be one of the first ones gone. It's videos like this that give the world such a false view of the intentions of the USA.
And 90DG wrote,
Survive first, hid then what? Live a life under a nuke-shattered world is. The dust clouds after explosion will probably wipe all living things out anyways. It's best to be the first wave to die from the nuke strikes. No pain, no panic.
At Trauma Queen 65 wrote,
This is all assuming China will be part of the start of WW3. It's far more likely it will start in the Middle East. I'm quite happy to live in rural Australia in either event. I'd like to see China land in northern Australia and attempt to cross those alligator-infested lands.
At Mohammed Savad 6637 wrote,
USA was something when they became a superpower with the help of Israelis. But now countries like Israelis, USA, British, France, Germany, Italy, etc. are trash. Soon these evil will be defeated and destroyed in the most humiliating way.
At Mad Cat Lady wrote,
South America and Africa suddenly look safer. Yes, the people already there will likely kill you if the animals don't, but it wouldn't be any more dangerous than now.
At IZ9273 wrote,
This video is stupido. Trump has severed relations with your former allies. As an Aussie, we no longer feel allegiance as the sub deal was rubbish and the Quad is dismantled. You're talking like things are the same as they were with Biden. They're not. You guys would not help us, so why should we fight your fights with you anymore? Wake up.
At design_build_create wrote,
Iceland would be extremely strategic in a Iceland. It would instantly be taken over. And any politician there instantly killed or arrested and put aside. However, its geolocation shows maybe, as we're seeing, USA would take over it. Russia could also try to take it. Therefore, ice battles could go on between these two, USA and Russia.
At Rastafari Highly wrote,
During WW1 and WW2, did the inhabitants of the planet call those conflicts WW1 and WW2, or were those names given by historians in retrospect? In the event of global conflict, will some media houses simply announce that WW3 has begun today at 10:55 a.m.? Or would it be recognized as such after the fact? Honestly, I'll think it is already in process.
At Gallagher 4005 wrote,
What's with Madagascar? It has no us military bases. Big island, great crops, and surely enough space for meat. Oh, and Pitcairn Island sure would be safe law.
Pahat wrote,
Bulls, when the next world war really take off, you gonna die anyway. Whether directly or suffer in pain for a little longer. US will be affected in some way. No, it will be directly affected.
At sunrise, Ul7KO wrote,
Just a comment about ballistic missile range. A missile going in the eastern direction has the benefit of the rotation of the Earth, which is about 1,670 kilometers per hour. However, if you launch a ballistic missile in the western direction, you have to compensate for the rotation of the Earth, which significantly reduces the range of the missile. So the most economic direction of the missile on your map are incorrect.
At Rhythmatica wrote,
Just pointing out, if it's even in part nuclear, fallout, and the result of such, doesn't care about what country you live in. Survive just to live through a nuclear winter. Outcome done.
At Russell Heinemann XW7PR wrote,
Iceland is rather one of the last places to go because of Keflavik. Instead of destroying it, I would take it for easy bombings of the US and the Cuban conflict in 1962.
At Richard Edward Sargent, sir. 6948 wrote,
Just be an elite and live forever underground, where they already have everything you could possibly want. Or the moon bases on the dark side. Or on one of Elon's spaceships. You know he's ready, probably watch it like the Super Bowl.
At JS_NZ wrote,
Nobody is going to bother coming all the way down to NZ. For most of the video, we were barely on the map, as per usual. Producing more than 5x the food that the population actually consumes, a disruption to global trade, could be a domestic supply bonanza. China is actually one of our largest trading partners, and they, the Chinese, haven't even frowned at NZ for recognizing Taiwan. NZ produces ridiculous amounts of kiwi fruit, apples, avocados, wine, beer, cheese, milk products, timber, and aluminum. I think we're pretty sorted.
A 648 Roland wrote,
A small number of atomic bombs dropped in various places in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans would cause tsunamis that would destroy most of the islands and coastal cities around the rims and possible volcanic eruptions, etc. Nobody would win what would be the war of lunacy.
At MaxMinner7282 wrote,
Correction for South Africa. The power company is called Eskom, not Exxon. And if WW3 breaks out, South Africa will be in civil unrest due to poverty, poorly maintained infrastructure, high unemployment rate, government entities not functioning, corruption, and racial issues. So nothing really new.
F. Munsterman wrote,
You can scratch South Africa of that list because it is currently very unstable in a political sense, and that will stay so for some time to come. Not to mention the calls by the ANC party to ethnically cleanse the nation from the Boer as in white population. So, no. South Africa is not going to be a safe place to be.
At Stephen Marcus 9601 wrote,
Putin doesn't have the firepower to take Finland. Ukraine has destroyed them, claimed 1 million troops, caused 1 million to flee plus a great many injuries. It no longer even has gas.
As Stephen Marcus 9601 wrote,
I know Australia wants to increase population, but with only 5 million, NZ should be taking Ukrainians, Africans, Latin Americans, and aiming for at least 8 million population.
at Wraith Saulus 2278 wrote,
Most of the places you mentioned could be strategic locations to target in order to disrupt U.S. supplies. For example, Chile exports a significant amount to the U.S., making it a potential point of focus.
at Victorier 9728 wrote,
The coming war will be worldwide. It is the end of the current world civilization. The only safe place is to come under the protection of the Almighty Creator God, who is sovereign above all. His prophecy will come to pass. Repent and believe in the only one who came down from heaven and died on the cross. He is coming soon to redeem his people and to judge the world.
at Will Evans 429 wrote,
A nuclear winter encompasses the entire globe. Only flat earthers have a chance. We would basically all be up Crap Creek without a paddle. Go quickly is better.
at Mystic_Light wrote,
WW3 started some time ago, like 10 to 20 years back. Cold War is still war. Tuvalu residents are being relocated to Australia because the island is being reclaimed by the sea.
at Dner75XH9 Lu wrote,
What a bunch of polemicists you all are. You do know dopes have been saying this for over 70 years, no? U.S. relations have soured with hipsters. Well, pretty much everyone. Completely fabricated. Is your office just a bunch of 22-year-olds who took Poli Sci 1001 from some Marxist professor, spend $15 at Starbucks a day and another $20 on lunch because you can't make a sandwich, and then meet up at the local brew pub after work to spend another $50 a night? Then you complain about how you can't afford rent. All too telegraphed. Not too bright, kiddies, not too bright.
at JVSFit23 wrote,
Why do I have the feeling in WW3 it's not UN versus China, Russia, and such? With the way US is going, it will be only the US by itself versus everyone else, as most of the world is over the US. And our greatest ally, RK, Israel, has never and would never lift a finger to help us. They only want us to help them, so you know just how great our greatest ally is. Lord.
at IrishLedden 4924 wrote,
The United States should be more concerned with our current civil war between the pro-Americans and the liberals. We must not rest till ALL liberals are deceased, employed or deported.
at Lou Robin 2728 wrote,
Best place to be is with your loved ones accepting your mortality. If ever this happens, I will not be hiding out. I will pity the survivors as I take my last breath.
Ethiopia 8113 wrote,
Stay away from the islands like Tuvalu, Queen Helens and Co. In a world war, such islands will become important military points for refueling and repairs. The powers fighting won't leave them alone.
at Gidad 7213 wrote,
Well, it is obvious that China believes that the moon is a safe place. They can build a great temple for the only survivor of the human race, and he can watch himself blow up the earth. These people aren't insane. No, really.
at Disillusioned Anglophile 7680 wrote,
Nowhere in the northern hemisphere. After all, it's all those morons and idiots in the north. Her in the southern hemisphere, we will be good here, as savages in the jungle, while the European gardeners makes fool of themselves. I'm not talking economics here.
When all you fools are gone, we can use a tiny amount of your oil to survive. The Americans and the banner blank French have already polluted the South Pacific. Don't go there.
A Gravy Monplan wrote,
Really, you should be mentioning Brazil. Has all the resources and different climates. Impossible to invade. Very isolated. All the air is either coming from southern Atlantic or Amazon basin, so very little possible radiation drift. Not to mention all the churrasco and caipirinhas to forget about the rest of the world. That's where I'll be.
A Daryl Turner I1S wrote,
I like the way you hint at how the USA is the cause of the world's problems. The problem is you believe that a non-leader is better than one that you would call orange. You would rather live on your knees than die for standing up for your principles, which you don't seem to have.
At User McGiver wrote,
Australia is staying out of this, dude. We don't side in this war for world dominance between you and China. We'll close our ports and airfields for both sides, even your bases, and we'll defend our land to any intruder. That would be our contribution to world peace. We never followed you Yanks to your wars. We followed the king, and we don't do that either now. But hey, thoughts and prayers, okay? BTW, I hear India is sitting this one out too.
A 2L8 Mate 59 wrote,
If war broke out, I'd stay away from Iceland in the Pacific. Too small, rising ocean will claim land. The atolls will be the first to go. New Zealand is one of the best places. It has clean water, land to grow crops and feed beef and sheep. Plus, there are plenty of places to hide and defend. NZ may look small, but it is quite rugged with high elevations, such as the Southern Alps. It also has a lot of bushland, which can be hard to navigate. Although the armed forces are small, NZers will band together and fight off any would-be intruders if it came down to it.
At Andib 7347 wrote,
I could tell you where I want to be. Sitting at my house, laying in my hammock, smoking a joint, drinking a shot. Looking at the bombs fall in the sky, saying, damn, hold my beer, hold on a second, I'm going to fire back.
A Kekbusman 7441 wrote,
The truth is, there is no safe place at all. When some or many or thousands of people go to any of these safe places, they won't be welcomed by the locals. And every war party will be on alert who is going there and invade these very weak countries. And living in one of these safe paradises will be the hell on earth. Not enough of everything. Nobody wants you to come.
Eklano Armiophala 2557 wrote,
I would like to be anywhere I can see America lose so I can finally live free with no one telling me I have to pay taxes or I can't live in my own home on land I've already paid for. God will even the field very soon.
A Champsox 05 wrote,
Who gives a you-know-what? Here in the United States, most of us have firearms. I don't think any ground troops from anywhere else in the world want to test that.
At Mickey Max 1 wrote,
None of these countries will welcome the instigators of we, or people from a country now globally infamous for turning away folks seeking asylum from war or persecution also. The video assumes the US still has allies and will remain a member of NATO. I noticed this video calls a lot of current allies belligerents. Another thing, you better get out now, because you'll be called up to the US draft and trying to leave the country will be almost impossible for would-be deserters.
At Iceve 1 wrote,
The Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas. Too far from everywhere, no volcanoes, no earthquakes. One of the purest air and water in the world. The only downside is just the harsh cold climate that reminds you of the Shetland Islands,
At Dunagrinstaff 9635 wrote.
Why do you speak as though Putin might be a major factor? Are you really that ignorant? If Russia had any leader other than Putin, the missiles would have already been launched in response to some of Ukraine's attacks on Russia.
At Alexander Popov 5060 wrote.
Who writes this shit? It might be a surprise to many, but the real reason Russia isn't erasing Ukraine from the map is the people, millions of people. I have family in both countries, just like many of us. It would be like two states fighting a war where friends and family live. A world war would not go the same way. It would be strategic nukes for everyone, and before everyone is finished eating, firsts, seconds, and thirds will be served. Russia is fighting 54 different countries in Ukraine and isn't losing. Ukraine has a big problem with fighting age population, a problem that Russia doesn't have. Russia has 143 million citizens and 20 to 30 million people that are from abroad. Ukraine had 42 before the war. In the first week, many left. Over 10 million went to Russia. 12 million went to Poland, another 8 everywhere else. Only the poor people are left. Ukrainian dictator has ed all his opposition, got rid of the elections, eradicated the press, destroyed the churches, has literal Nash from the Fourth Reich, as they call themselves in the army. Why is all this being covered up by the West? Yet we get videos like this. Who is paying you? We know how much money went for propaganda purposes in the West. We know how clueless people can be in the West. Most still believe that Russia was the one who started this war. No one talks about the Minsk Accords that were supposed to stop everything. No one puts 2 and 2 together and asks, why did the Biden administration leave all the weapons behind for Afghanistan's militants? Well, it is simple, because they have been bribed a long time ago by the globalists to start a new forever war and buy new weapons from which to make money. Ukraine is a money laundering scheme. What about the biolabs? This comment will not see the light of day, I'm sure, because I've said too much and the truth has to be controlled so the normies don't see this. And if they do, they will be told it's all lies, because no one ever does any actual research. A quick Google search and that's all, and the West is banking on that.
Agalpo Shalpo 121 wrote.
When WW3 starts, the safest places would likely be neutral, remote, and resource-secure countries far from major conflict zones. Locations like Switzerland, New Zealand, or parts of South America offer the best chance of stability and survival.
Eskeets K1Y wrote.
The world will be in a mess everywhere, so I'd rather be dead, thank you. I've had my 70 years and 10, born in WW2, and know what the aftermath was like. This would be even worse. Good luck to the survivors, though. I suppose you've taken into consideration that Fiji and Tonga and many islands have multiple volcanoes, and the rising water levels might cover many of them by 2050?